There was quite a bit of excellent material in Week 3's discussion forum on synchronous and asynchronous learning. A good amount of the conversation centered around the various tools that people use for synchronous communication, which is a great topic as there are so many options available today. Most learning management systems, such as Blackboard and Moodle, offer some form of real-time communication, such as document collaboration and screen sharing, to full voice and video conferencing. There are also a number of resources from third-party vendors, such as Fuse, Skype, and Google, which offer extensive collaboration suites. The key to successful synchronous communication, I think, is matching the collaborative tools to specific learning objectives and opting for the most basic solution to meet instructional needs. As channels are added to synchronous communication, such as audio, video, screen sharing, and the like, technology overhead significantly increases in complexity. Web-based video conferencing and screen sharing can replicate many of the interactions we experience in our face-to-face classrooms, but the overhead of such systems results in multiple points of potential failure. But this said, if learning objectives are significantly enhanced by synchronous communication technologies, then the support requirements and learning curves become a form of upfront investment for long-term gain. Generally, I try to select technologies that are most familiar to my users and which have a relatively broad user base. I rely on simple, straightforward conference bridges for group telephone conversations. Do a Google search for free conference calling options, for instance. And telephone technologies are easy to use. They have a long history, and they are ubiquitous and proven technologies. Often, I'll use Skype or Apple's FaceTime for video conferencing as a way to establish a more personal, individual connection with my students. The downside of Skype and FaceTime is that they both require access to applications outside of the course's learning management system, and in the case of Apple's FaceTime, sometimes these outside applications are platform-specific. For synchronous group interaction, I'll use a standard conference call bridge, like I described above. If screen sharing is an important component of the synchronous session, I'll use Skype's subscription-based service or, increasingly, Google's Hangouts, which support free synchronous multicasting. The selection of the synchronous service largely depends upon the specific nature of the course that I'm teaching and the relative technology sophistication of my students. For example, tonight I'm hosting open office hours for my graduate students. I set up a conference bridge that opens at 8 p.m. and I'll stay online in the event that one of my students drops in for conversation. Later in the semester, as they work on their research articles, we'll speak via telephone and collaborate real-time on the same Google document. I'll collect the bibliographic references from this week's discussion forum and post them as a single reference document. My response to the collaborative document will be published separately. You did a really good job, Week 3. Take care.